Hi everybody, Mature Simmer here. So welcome to yet another check out of a career mod possibility. I was turned on to Newsky by someone. Not entirely sure how viable this will be, but figured I'd capture some stuff and see. So I basically just signed up, said what my name was, what the home airport is. So I picked another one in Ohio, but I went with a bigger one here because I don't think little ones are going to work terribly well with this from what I've seen. So I've done Akron-Canton Regional, which we had flown into, I think, with Neofly. And I've got one email here and just saying the pilot application is accepted. So clicking on it gives me nothing. And you can see I've got 5 monies to my name. Gone through and set things up in my settings, which are pretty basic. I have looked over the wiki, so I have some basic understanding. Alright, so under My Airlines, we've got Newsky Academy. I am a pilot, so welcome to Newsky Academy. In this airline, you can do any flights you want and no one will judge you. Here you can learn how a rating system works and build up your average score and flight experience to join more professional airlines. Test if you want to fly some risky airport, try new aircraft, or simply have some fun while still getting rated for your flight. Newsky Academy is the right place for you. So you can see 8,456 pilots. Again, how many are active? I guess interesting. You've got kind of airline activity. Their awesome statute. No feed. No awards. Alright, there's a bunch of pilots and where they're at, and I guess the money they have. People only really have like 9 monies. There's that many folks. I would think someone has more. Or is that maybe their rating? I don't know. Alright, so the fleet. Pretty extensive. 73 aircraft. Alright, if we go to operations, I do believe, if I recall, that the creator of this is in Poland, so I'm not surprised there's stuff there. So week 18 of 2024. Just kind of looking. So today, so yeah, this is relatively active. I don't know that these are all today, but if they are, let's see. Okay, it's this week. Okay, so, well, I guess it's this flight in the last 8 weeks. So we can see what departure, arrival, the duration, what aircraft they used. It's not showing me any balance. No rating, saying it's closed. Something was canceled, so the account was deleted. And we went from 357 to 358 in the time we went through it. So someone just did another one, I guess. So that's the airline. Let's search airlines and see. Alright, so we have some that are very active. I assume this is pilots active in the last 30 days. So Top Sky Airlines, they're an official VATSIM partner. The only official virtual airline of the Flight Simulator Magirul YouTube channel. Skywalk. But if you look at these, I mean, they're certainly not bad. There's some low ones here. 21% of the pilots, so I guess this is the total. Oh no, flights in the last 30 days and the total pilots. And it looks like this is page 1 of 29. So this does sort by activity or members. So again, this has the most members. I assume there's nothing that has more members. That looks accurate. So Osprey Airlines is the biggest, the official virtual airline of the British AV Geek YouTube channel community. Alright, so this is the airline rating. So that 9.15 I saw was likely that. Okay, then there's the barely active. I'm just trying to see what they have. And we're on page 6 before we're starting to see barely actives. Alright, so on to page 13, and then we have dead. So some of the deads have no pilots even. So it doesn't look like they get rid of them, unfortunately. But anyway, I'm not worried about that right now unless I need to do that, but it sounds like I can fly with Newsky Air. So if we go take a peek, this is not unbusy. I mean, 127 flights online. Pretty good. I assume they are in a simulator, and are the green ones in VATSIM? Oh, I see, they're flying a schedule. They're charter, and the blues are not sure, because a lot of these are airlines. Alright, so I'm in an airline. I don't want to create an airline, but let's see. If we go book a flight, what do we have? So we have flight type, the airline, the route, and the details. So I can do free flight passenger or cargo, schedule passenger or cargo. Alright, and then it takes me to my airline. I picked schedule passengers. And so there is this flight. Okay, so I'm thinking I need to... So I'm trying to figure out how I would do things. Alright, so I think I'm just going to do a general passenger flight. So there we go. We'll just do that. We'll do the departure. I don't know if I have to go very far, so let's see. So let me just do Cleveland to Akron. So I have Chevy citation, so I can set the information. Departure time is when you leave your gateway and start your engine. You don't want to leave the gate too soon. Calculate duration. I assume it did that. Okay. Alright, so we'll go ahead and we'll book the flight. Alright, so now I have the flight. Start a flight, use our standalone app. So if I bring in the standalone app, so now it shows that, and you can see. So the thing that was confusing to me is this looks like the website, but anyway. We'll start this flight. This will start recording. You must be at the right airport and the right aircraft. Okay, so not there yet, so let me do that. Alright, so I'm not sure. I see, so traffic around. Radio's changed. Alright, so as I've done before, I'm going to leave things invisible because otherwise I can't really tell. But I'm just going to note the log entries as they happen. Alright, so it did note that I changed the altimeter, so it's checking that kind of stuff, obviously. And then we're going to want the taxi light. So lights changed. It noted that. So one of the things I did see is with some of... There's a lot of virtual airlines, and, you know, we looked at that and basically, you know, had determined, wow, there's, you know, 20 pages of active things going on. Clicking on some of them, there's a detailed page behind there, and so they give you a lot of information, and one of the things they mention is you need to fly a certain amount of things depending on which airline you choose to join in Newsky Academy, because basically they want to make sure you're a good pilot and you know how to score well within the system. But so that's part of why I'm like, all right, let me just go ahead and try that, because at a minimum they're like, do at least one flight for even the basic ones, but most of them asked for like four to 8. Actually, I guess it was 4 flights, but you had to score like either a 6 or an 8 or better. So I'm assuming that's out of a scale of 10. So I'm thinking this is a little bit like self-loading cargo, other than obviously it's more about the plane. Alright, so I want the tail to the right. So we're going to release the parking brake, and now we'll be able to go. Once they start moving, because I want to see if it's going to say something like, you know, did pushback or Because I'm guessing they don't want you starting somewhere. Alright, so we've got flaps set to 50. I'm sure that's a key thing. Okay, position update. I'm gonna start the one engine. Okay, engine change. So I'm sure it's just also, again, just looking that you're doing things. It says that there's another position update. And there's green check marks, so I'm assuming it doesn't mean I did anything wrong. So that's always a good thing. I just feel like I'm doing something. Alright, so off block time recorded. So, you know, I'm a little bit late. So we'll see, you know, what it tells me with that. But, alright, we're getting our stuff there. Alright, and then engines are set. So showing engine change. Again, I think I need to report that it's good engine start, and then they'll disconnect us. But basically, you book the flight, and we were 2050. So there's, you know, the time up here that it's showing you. So there should be a position change soon that it's going to note, I assume. Every time I move, it kind of does that. And again, I've obviously got to be careful not to speed, because I'm sure that will be a bad thing. But yes, position update at 16:57, which is the local time. But again, the block time, I think, was, you know, 2050. I'm assuming that's what it meant. I'm hoping it wasn't like, oh, I booked my flight and I'm supposed to take it 4 hours later. Okay, and it keeps giving a position update, so I don't know if it just checks. I'm going to see if I can tell how often it's doing that. Okay, looks like 7 seconds, so it's pretty quick, because it's 16:58:22. Now it's 16:58:29. So yes, it's going quite often. Taxied. We've got the flaps. We need landing lights on. That gives us that. Again, lights changed is what it says. I've got my distance. I even set my heading to line up with the runway. So in theory, I'm good. And then this should get me out there, and we should be able to take off. And you know, I'll leave this as a, you know, we'll follow the flight, because it's pretty short. I mean, it's like 35 nautical miles, so in a Cessna. Now again, I'm going to have to be super careful about not overspeeding or anything like that. But, alright. So, we're going to crank the engines up. Oops, I've got my trim set a bit. Let me adjust that. Let's see if it says anything about that. It probably won't. Okay, so far I think it's just doing position updates. Alright, take off. Alright, gear up. And I should be able to engage the autopilot. Shortly. It's interesting that the top of descent is, alright, so I've got to be careful that I don't go too fast. so what I probably need to do is come down here and then go direct to buck-in and execute. There we go. Whoop, 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 whoop. Shoot. I'm probably going to get flagged. Overspeed. Okay. So yes, it had overspeed start, overspeed end. So I'm hoping that it won't be too bad, because this will take us down. Like, yeah, there's not really a specific spot here. So I'm not sure when it'll cap and then when the glide slope will grab. Alright, we're at the outer marker. Alright, now it grabbed the glide slope, so that'll help. And now I can, let's see, how far am I? Alright, we're going to put the gear down. I'm assuming it's going to flag that, but maybe not. Going to get ourselves slowed down as well. So gear set to down is a log entry. I want to get my flaps down at the right speed. Alright, so we're good there. Flaps set to 50. And there we go, we're at 500. And then we'll get flaps set to 100. Alright, so this is going to be kind of the tricky thing of, you know, how difficult is it going to be to land. So let's see, we're at 400. I'm going way, way down here. So I'm trying to be like light as a feather. Come on. Ooh, 276. That's a lot.
Altitude.
Oh, and then I bounced. So that's not going to help. So it does record that. Wow. So yeah, you can see what the situation is there. Certainly not a good one. Alright, so I'm just going to head to the gate here. Like, I don't know that I probably should have my taxi lights on to at least get the lights changed thing. And then, so we've got the parking brake, and then we'll turn off the nav light, strobe light, taxi light. Get our flaps set back, and then what do we normally want to do? Well, we'll just turn off the engines. Alright, engine change. What do I need to do to be done? Because it's not flagging anything that I'm finished. I mean, obviously I can power things down. Alright. Turn those off, turn the battery off. We should be set, I guess. Okay, this will close your flight log. You cannot undo this. So I'll move this back here. So I should be okay. Close flight. Ooh. So, yeah. Not good. 4.97. I'm sure the bounce was a big thing. So let's see. Let's review the flight log. Oh goodness. Off centerline landing. So perfect score is under 4 meters, and then bad touchdown. Oh wow, so I like lost. Oh, and then distance from the threshold. Wow, so they're expecting some really solid landings, it looks like, because these are all really, let's see if I click on that. Oh yeah, I do kind of remember. So it takes us into the wiki and looks at that. Now let's see what the landing rate is. Like, what would it allow? So average is 1.5 to, because that's the thing. I think it was the bounce. Because otherwise, I think I was in pretty good shape. Because over 2, the 2.32 is what they call bad. It's that one your aircraft will remember for some time when it's undergoing checks. But it's a good thing to learn. So I'll go ahead, give it another try in the future. I mean, or did I really, like, because it's telling me negative 16,000. I'm wondering if that was the thing, like if I had. So I'm going to leave this, and then we'll just kind of attach. So I'm going to keep this because, again, I don't know if this is going to be something that I stick with or not. So basically just flew the same flight again, but much better result. So if we look here, I was off the center line by 0.74 meters. Oh, I see, in takeoff, and then a little further on landing. So that was, what, 7.2, and then basically we get 0.57. So distance from the threshold was good. I was in the accepted range. And then I think, again, you're supposed to basically roll straight on. Yeah, it doesn't really explain in the material. I'm assuming it's because the flight is so short as to why I'm losing money each time. This has definitely verified. First off, there's no small planes. Like, I looked for a Cessna 172 because I'm like, yeah, I might be able to land a bit better that way because it's just slower, so forth. So hey, let me try that. And so the 1.63 we got was in the average range. Basically, the target, the great landing is 1.05 to 1.40. But at this point, like, I got an 8.71. So if I go here to the airlines, for example, and take a look at these guys, so they're talking about, that you fly a flight to give you the opportunity, and it gives you a chance to read your post-flight report and understand the rating system. And so that's the thing. You need to complete at least one flight via the Newsky Academy and achieve a rating of at least 6 to be eligible. So in theory, I'm eligible for these guys. And they're very active. I think I looked at these guys too, and so these were a little bit different in that they talk about your personal rating. If you are a new pilot, your personal rating is less than 8, and you have not made a minimum of 4, we would ask you to join Top Sky Airlines Academy, TKF, where you complete the ATPL training tour consisting of 4 flights, and the minimum score for each leg is 8 points, and then you get an ATPL badge and you move on to the main airline. You can see, 716 pilots, 373 pilots, there's a lot of pilots, 1,300, or 716. So, it would seem like this would be the easiest one if I was to do anything, but the issue of why I'm for this situation, gonna stop, and basically we'll have this one video about Newsky. What I was thinking it is what it is. It's basically something instead of smart cars to track flights that uses some different measurements and different features. But at the end of the day, it's basically a virtual airline system. It's not really a career system. So there's nothing where I'm picking loads. I'm literally just booking flights. And so it's the same as virtual airlines, which, once again, if I want to get involved with some of these folks, maybe I'll do that. But once again, if I end up, maybe if I end up doing something with On Air, maybe I'll join the pilot club instead, since I had stayed away from them simply because it was like, well, I don't want to pay for this service if I don't need to. I'll join virtual airlines that don't use it. But in that case, we'll see what happens. So Newsky is basically out of the running for a career add-on option. It doesn't even seem to track a balance for the pilot. Like this, if you look at this, just to make it clear, this 417 is on this flight. So when it's saying that the balance is that, it's just for this flight here. So if you are not a subscriber, please consider that, and I will see you next time.